Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dirty Martini. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're having an amazing day. Like I promised you last week, today I am tuning in to tell you about my experience at the Grand National Tour, which is SZA and Kendrick Lamar's tour. And I went to the concert in Amsterdam, and that happened like 2 weeks ago. And before you say anything else, wait, let me just say something. Well, I mean that's the whole point of the podcast, me saying stuff. But like, have you noticed, guys, that I tell you about the concerts and my trips and everything only after they have happened? I never announce that I am going to this concert or I am traveling to this place this day, whatever. That is because I am a very superstitious person, as you probably have noticed by now. We know each other for like what, a year and a half now. You've seen me, like you've heard me. I am superstitious on many levels, but especially when it comes to announcing stuff that I plan on doing. And it's not because I have this mentality of work in silence and let the results speak for themselves. No, it's because I am scared. And in fact, I'm not even scared. I am terrified of someone knowing where I am, especially strangers, especially information being available online. And that's why I never ever announce where I plan on going, and I never post stuff from the places I am while I'm still there. I I don't know why. It's just like a safety precaution. And the thing is, if you see me announcing that I am going to a place before I have been there, or that I am posting myself from a place where I still am, or I'm tagging myself somewhere, I have been kidnapped. And that is not me who's making the post, or maybe I am being paid to do this. But I will only post once I am no longer there because of stranger danger. I never tag myself places anymore, and I thought it was super cool when I was younger to tag myself and be like, oh, I'm at this cafe and I'm flying from here, and let me take a picture from my airport. Well, not my airport. Let me take a picture from the airport and announce that I'm going somewhere. No, I am superstitious, and I have this sometimes maybe weird belief that if I announce something before it happens, some evil spirits or ill wishing people might do something and something will fail. So I'd rather post stuff and share it once it has been achieved. And this is something I actually have realized I should start also doing when it comes to my plans, just in general in life. Because, well, the thing is, okay, when it comes to this, I'm actually like torn, because on the one side I don't want any, malintent to creep into my plans and potentially, I come from people who believe in black magic. This is what my folk does. Folk do, god, English doesn't matter. But on the other side, at the same time, I believe like if I share something that I plan to do, I have someone or something, that something being expectations, holding me accountable and motivating me to do stuff. So I am very, very torn. That's why I've only started sharing. I mean, I do still share my plans. I just share them with my closest friends because I know they're the ones who are going to hold me accountable and just not cut me some slack if I'm slacking. Anyways, so yes, I feel safer telling my story times only after I have experienced them, instead of just coming out here. And because tickets like for concerts and events like these, you buy months in advance, but I never announce it. And yeah, I don't know why I went on this tangent, but I just felt the need to tell you this. But yes, I went to the Grand National Tour in Amsterdam. And the thing is, I knew for half a year, or like, I don't know if it was half a year, but like for quite a few months, that I am going to go to that tour, which gave me enough time to prepare myself mentally because, first big tour since, big concert since the Eras Tour. And I'm, again, sorry to mention it, it's just like, it's the first arena concert that I've been to. And I'm actually quite happy that, because I've been to now 3 concerts post the Eras Tour, and I'm happy. The first one was Role Models in a very small venue, 1,000 people. The second one was 21 Pilots in a larger arena sort of thing, and then the Grand National Tour, which was at a stadium. So it was progressively exposing myself to my fear, and I think that this exposure therapy helped me with battling my fear of a terrorist attack happening at a concert where I am. Although that fear still very much persists, and I have to admit, the very first thing I said after the concert ended was, I turned to my friends and I was like, I know it's still early because we're still in the stadium and we still need to commute and whatnot, but I am so, so happy that there wasn't a terrorist attack. And it's so extremely sad that this is where my mind goes to. And I'm super, super thankful that nothing at the Eras Tour happened and it was all prevented, but it still marked me. And it's, I don't know, like, it's scary. And I'm sure that one day I will get over it because I see how my friends who I went to Vienna with are dealing with the concept of fear when it comes to going to concerts, and they're battling with it much easier. And when I talk to them about, hey, how do you cope with that fear? One of them just told me, well, my love for experiencing music live is stronger than the fear of what could have been. And I think this is a really nice way to look at it. And it's not to signify or symbolize that I don't love enjoying listening and experiencing live music. It's just different people experience the same thing differently. And this is something I talked about with a colleague recently about a small T and a big T trauma. And I'm not trying to label myself as traumatized because I don't want to portray myself as a victim, and I don't want to ever play the victim card, especially when nothing happened in the sense that it was all prevented and nobody died. But the same people experience the same, like, different people experience the same thing differently. The water that softens the egg hardens the potato. The other way around. The water that softens the potato hardens the egg. Guys, I am experiencing a heat wave, so if I sound a little bit off, well, it's 40 degrees outside and I am sweating simply by breathing. So excuse me if my mind is a little bit misty in the sense that I don't sound clear. I apologize. It's been a very, very long week, but I will tell you about my week now. Next week, let's stick to the Grand National Tour. So I went back to the Netherlands, as I mentioned last week. I went back to work and I went for the concert. Those were the two only reasons I went back. Because, well, I need to keep up my reputation as the concert girl. And I know this is so out of touch. And so, again, I went also to work and I traveled for a concert, which, what a crazy thing to do, because before I moved to the Netherlands, I had never been to a concert of that capacity. I mean, sure, I went once to a festival at the seaside in Bulgaria, and it was an MTV festival, and Rita Ora performed there, and Ears performed there, and LMFAO, like the I'm Sexy and I Know It guy, performed there, and it was really cool. But I never experienced concerts the way I do before I moved to the Netherlands, and that's why I fell in love so much with them, because started experiencing them at a point of my life in my life where when I could appreciate them, because I worked hard to be able to save up money to go to that concert. So I genuinely saw it as something so it was a gift from me to me. And that's why I still, despite fears, despite worries, go to concerts, because I love going to concerts. And I know this sounds so, again, out of touch and so privileged. And I realize how privileged I am. And I realize how I perhaps even overgo to concerts. But I love it. It's one of the things that genuinely make me feel alive. And it makes me feel as if everything is going to be okay, because the emotion you experience when going to a concert, and I've told you this before, I am someone who takes music very seriously despite my musical inabilities. I myself am musically incapable. I cannot sing, I cannot play any instruments despite my desire to want to be able to play the piano. But the thing is, I also want to just wake up and know how to play the piano. And this is also like starts another conversation about picking up new stuff and investing time and energy and effort into stuff that we don't have the time to dive deeper into today, because the heat is coming and I need to record this now. Otherwise, I am going to fade, because if I record this later, I am just going to be a puddle of sweat, and I'm even going to be far more intelligible. Not is intelligible the word I'm looking for? Being unable to, the inability, the lack of, you cannot understand me. This is what I mean. This is what I mean, guys. I know I'm never going to complain about heat, but like, oh my God. Like, I was so, like, acclimatized, is that a word, to the Dutch climate, that when I came to the Balkans and I experienced a temperature increase of 20 degrees overnight, that did something to me. And that something was I had a heat stroke and I puked so much. But let's keep this for next week. So yeah, I feel like I've mentioned this 7 times by now, and I never actually said anything afterwards. I just keep, driving off the rails. I went to the Grand National Tour, and I went with friends, and we had seats. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I need to emphasize it again. I am so incredibly thankful that we had seats for this concert. And sure, they were nosebleeds. Sure, our view was not the best. Sure, when they were singing All the Stars, we were closer to the stars than we were to Kendrick and SZA. But that does not matter, because especially in the summer, it is unbearable. I mean, not that it's necessarily summer, because I was still wearing, jeans and jackets in the Netherlands, and then I came here and I'm like, can I just strip off my skin off of my body so that I can cool down? But we had seats, and I'm so thankful, because the pit, it looked so fun. It looked amazing, but God, did it look dangerous with all the mosh pits that were happening. Because the mosh pits were quite extreme, because you're going there and you're so hyped, because it's the type of music that gets you so hyped and you just want to jump and scream and sing and just be free. But I've seen videos from people who have been in the pit, who have been in the middle of the mosh pit, caught in the motion of the ocean, and they looked miserable. And they looked so sweaty. And I am so thankful for my nosebleed seats because I also did not have to queue with my friends. We just went to Amsterdam. In the morning, I could sleep in, I could do my stuff, then get ready, and then go to the concert and not have to worry about queuing and securing water and securing food because I could just go and grab some. And that was beautiful. And I don't know if I've mentioned this, I promised myself to never get general admission, like pit tickets, or unless it's like an artist I really really want to see and feel like it's worth it going into the pit for. But I promised myself that I'm never going to get general admission again after my experience at the Weeknd's concert last year. No, it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago. Oh my god, it was 2023. Where did all the time go? Guys, next week is August. Next week is August. I'm sorry, but 2025 has been one of the years that has flown by the fastest, and no one can convince me otherwise. And let's not start again our conversation about time slipping away and us being unable to stop its passage and enjoy and experience its passage, and just battling with the consequences of getting older. Because if we do this now, I will not be a puddle of sweat, I will be a puddle of tears and sweat and deodorant that keeps. Like, guys, I switched from natural deodorant to, give me all the chemicals, because I usually am the type of person who's like, oh, I don't want alcohol and aluminum in my deodorant because, I don't even know why, but like, they're not good for you, apparently. And now, over summer, give me all the chemicals. I swear to God, I take a shower, and as I exit the bathroom, I am already sweaty. And that's just the beauty of Balkan summer. What can I say? Doesn't matter. So, 2 years ago, when I went to the Weeknd, I queued a lot. I queued from 8 a.m. and it was a terrible experience because it was so hot. I was sunburned. I again was just like, I had like sun exhaustion or heat exhaustion, whatever it's called, and I was so faint, and I was by myself. Sure, I met some people at the queue, but they weren't people I could necessarily rely on because, well, we're not friends or anything. And I just remember I thought I was robbed at a certain point. I was going to Bulgaria, but I was going to Bulgaria from Germany again because I was trying to save money, and I thought I lost my wallet, but my wallet was with the people at the queue. But then this guy came to talk to me, and he wanted money, but he was talking about Christianity and helping people, and I thought he stole my wallet, and I was like, what are your Christian values that you stole my wallet? But he didn't steal my wallet, and I was just over it. So I queued for like basically 10 hours until they let us in. And inside, it didn't get better because I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this, but I paid to get to the part of the stage which is the closest to the stage. I had the most expensive ticket because I was a really big The Weeknd fan. I have not, honestly, his new album, I've listened to like one or two songs off of it. I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like just this experience really, I love his music still because like I have this toxicity in me, and toxic attract toxic. Um but that was me hitting my glass if you heard it. Oh my god, what is this episode? What is this show? What are you doing to yourself by consuming this type of content? What am I doing to myself by creating that type of content? I guess we'll never know. I guess we're just like dancing through life together. Dancing through life. I'm so excited for Wicked Part 2. I feel like this episode is ADHD final boss. And I hope you enjoy it, I guess. Because one time, one of my no longer friends told me they're not going to listen to the podcast because it's just my opinion and they don't find it interesting listening to just one point of view, which, okay, sure, valid. But they prefer listening to conversations. Have you actually listened to any of my episodes and thought that I'm not having a conversation? Because I entertain myself a lot. I I feel like people were always like my friends who I talked to about the development of the podcast. Oh, have you thought about having guests? Have you thought about interviewing people? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? I'm like, have you consumed my content? Do you know how entertaining it is for me to just be by myself and yap until the sun sets and yap until the sun rises? I don't need people in order to produce Dirty Martini. I just need, I don't know what I need even anymore. But like, it's so fun being by myself and yapping and letting my mind wander. And if this is something that's going to be used later when I finally can afford to go to therapy to diagnose me with something, at least I'm making my therapist jobs easier by providing them with the nitty-gritty and providing them with the, I don't know what it's called. Doesn't matter. I'm providing them with all the juice. Doesn't matter. So when I went inside the stadium for the weekend concert, and it was so chaotic, lack of organization, top tier lack of organization. And I went to a different section, not the one I paid for. I went to like the lower tier, and I was so far away, and I just could not see anything. My view was obstructed, and thank God I paid like, I'm even ashamed to say how much money I paid because this is a crazy amount of money. And in 2023, I was on a run. Thank God I did not, well, not thank God, I would have actually loved to have Dirty Martini back then. But if I had Dirty Martini back then, it would have been a concert story time after concert story time, because in June of 2023, I kid you not, I was at least once every week in Amsterdam for an event, be it a concert, be it a comedy show. Sometimes I even went more than one time a week. And because if it was something like Harry Styles, and I would spend the night there because the next night I was also at a concert. Basically, in June of 2023, I spent more time in Amsterdam than in the city I actually lived in. And it was honestly so much fun because this was my first exposure to concert going, and it was incredible. Like 2020 June 2023, you will always be famous. You will always have a special place in my heart because in a single month I saw SZA, Harry Styles 3 times. I saw well, no, Post Malone was a week before June. I saw Kevin Hart. I saw, who did I see? I saw Beyonce. I saw The Weeknd. It was an expensive month, guys. I know how privileged this is, but I was also saving up money for a year to be able to achieve this. So don't ever say that I was gifted it. I worked for it. Doesn't matter. So when I went inside, like I was also at the wrong section, and then people were arguing so much, and there were fights, and it was so hot, and we weren't allowed to bring in any water because they don't want you to bring in bottles. Well, I mean, you technically can bring a bottle, but without a cap, because the caps are apparently a safety hazard because people have been throwing bottles, well, just in general, people have been throwing things at artists, and I think they should stop. I don't think that's great. I don't think that's fun. I don't think the artists appreciate that. So just stop. I remember this one video I saw of someone throwing, I think it was a bracelet at Billie Eilish, and it was crazy. Or didn't someone give BB Rex a black eye because of something like this? That's crazy. Just don't imagine paying that much money just to go and hurt your favorite artist. Like, have you lost your marbles? Yes, you have. You've lost your mind, and that's not okay. And I understand the safety precaution, but so because of that, and because of the danger of heat, and after conversations about concert safety started being held after Astro World, and after I don't know if it was, no, it was last year when one girl passed away at the Eras Tour because of the heat, I believe. So they started giving away water to people in the pits, but they would give away no more than 30 milliliters of water at a time. And I'm sorry, but 30 milliliters is not going to quench my thirst. And it's actually not even going to be enough for me to realize that I have swallowed something else than my own saliva, especially during that heat. So I just remember people were fanning me because I was as red as a tomato, and I was feeling so faint, and people were fanning me, they were giving me water, and it was crazy because the second I sat down, and the concert hadn't started yet, we were just inside, and I had been queuing for hours on end, like I just mentioned, and the second I decided to sit down for literally a minute because my legs could no longer hold me, and it was a 3 hour set that was awaiting me, someone just picked up a fight with me and was like, oh, you're bothering me too much, and like you're taking up too much space by sitting down. So I got up, and no more than 30 seconds later they sat down. And like when I was sitting down, I basically was sat down in an embryo pose, like embryo position, so that I would take up as little space as possible. Whereas when they sat down, they basically did like snow angels, and I'm like, how is that okay? How is that okay? You just yelled at me, and you clearly saw that I was being helped by other people because I was not feeling okay, and you made me get up just so you can sit down. And I feel like the Weeknd's concert was amazing. The audience was terrible. The audience legitimately ruined my entire experience, and I believe that's why I have such a bad aftertaste when it comes to that music and that concert after the experience. And I'm not saying I'm not going to go to the Weeknd's concert if, let's say, he announces a European leg of his tour. I'm just saying that if I'm going to go, I will get a nosebleed seat, and I'm going to enjoy it far better, because that was just unacceptable. And since that terrible experience, I promised myself to only get seats. And it was like at SZA and Kendrick, I'm so thankful we had seats, because again, we didn't have to queue. We could get water, we could get food if we needed to, we could sit down if we wanted to, because it was a very long concert. Because you have Kendrick, then you have both of them, then you have SZA, then you have both of them, then you have Kendrick, then you have both of them, then you have SZA, then you have both of them. Or so like there were a lot of sets in the entire set, like subsets. And I am so thankful for seats, and this is my advice to you. Sure, if you want to experience going to a concert, general admission, and being in the pit, go for it. If you want to queue, go for it. But be careful, because it's genuinely a safety thing. Like your safety and well-being might be jeopardized, and that's just not a risk I am willing to take anymore, because I would rather have a great experience at the concert than the concert being my last experience. So, the Grand National Tour. I went in there with no expectations. And because I wasn't using social media at that point, and I unfortunately fell prey to it again, but I'm stopping, I promise. Here, okay, now this is me telling you future plans. I promise you that I'm going to stop using Instagram, at least for a little bit, at least let's say a few weeks, because I need a detox, and I'm telling you in advance so that you can hold me accountable. but I hadn't consumed any content because I wanted it all to be a surprise. I hadn't even listened to the set list. I didn't even know what was going to be played. And honestly, I was really, really, really hoping that SZA would perform Cry Baby, because Cry Baby, I feel like when she created that song, she somehow snuck in little cameras in my room and read my diary, because that song is a word for word narration of my thought process, of my existence, of my autobiography. Cry Baby is me if I was a song. And I do feel sad that she did not perform it, but I don't have the right to complain or have anything negative to say about the performance or any songs not being sung, because the concert was extremely well thought out. So here's the thing. Um, the concert, like the opening set, was by DJ Mustard, and I think it's hilarious that his nickname is Mustard because his name is Dijon. I think this is the perfect nickname. I just think that there's nicknames and there's nicknames, and this is a nickname, and I think it's so fitting and so perfect. And shout out, like, I mean, it couldn't have been better. And there's one thing I will say about a concert. There are concerts that just should not be seen during daylight. But this is European summer for you. This northwestern European summer for you, where the sun sets at 10 p.m. It's normal that most of the set is going to be during the day, but especially concerts like this, concerts like Kendrick, concerts like SZA, are, you would want to enjoy them during the night, because just the whole vibe, like, it's so much better enjoyed during the evening, during the night time. I don't know, I just like it better. And so the opening set was DJ Mustard, and that was genuinely such a great opening act, because I mean he was playing songs that the audience already knew. It was like famous mainstream rap music, but it was legit a great warm up. And I love opening artists whose art I don't know, because it's exposure to something new, but I feel like this, with, famous songs and the set being by a DJ playing other people's music instead of their own personal, it was genuinely a perfect fit, because it just set the mood, which is the main thing an opening act should do. And it made us really, really hype, and I really, really enjoyed the opening set. I was super happy that everything was on schedule, sure, with like a 15-minute delay, but that was all right, because I it's a long concert, so I already knew I was going to stay at a friend's place, because I was going to miss the last train to the town I live in. So I already knew that was not happening, but I was just happy that they were on time, because I have been burned by SZA once. I've seen her one more time, and I've been hinting, and I've been blue balling you about my SZA concert experience every now and then. And it was an amazing experience, but she was very late. And I don't think it was, I don't know if it was her personal fault that she was that late, but she was more than an hour and a half late, which delayed the concert further, and there were no trains, so I had to sleep on the floor of the airport with my friends, and we were stranded, and we were waiting until the middle of the night for a bus to come just so we can get out of Amsterdam, because we missed the last train. And I was very, very happy that this time that was not the case, because I think it's I understand that there's things that happen and there's unpredicted factors which may delay the start of a concert, but I honestly think it's extremely disrespectful if artists are late for the concert, especially if that concert is during the week. I mean, this one was on a Sunday, but obviously the next day is Monday, which is a working day, and I had to work at I had to wake up at 5 because I had a 2.5 hour train ride to the city I live in because I was at work, going to work. And it's not great when artists are late. I think it's very disrespectful to the fans who took time off of work, who took a just invested so much time and energy and money to go and see the artist just for the artist to be late. And that's why, and I'm sorry to the Beehive, I really, really did not like when I went to see Beyonce in 2023 and she was 2.5 hours late. I I think this is super disrespectful. If you say doors open at 6 and concert starts at 10, you cannot start a concert at 10. What did I say? Doors open at 6, concert starts at 8. You cannot start a concert at 10:30. It's this is the time the concert should be ending. And it's very disrespectful to your fans, and I am just very very grateful that they were on time, and this just eased my anxiety in that aspect. Um, the concert was very well thought out. The details were beautiful, the visuals were beautiful. But as for the visuals, actually, during SZA's second act, I believe it was, she because she was very far away from where I was because I was nosebleed seats. I was mainly looking at the screens. And what I did not like, and well, this time around actually, because it was at a stadium, the cameras were showing the artist. Whereas when I went to see her SOS tour in 2023, and it was at an arena and not a stadium, she didn't use the screens to show herself for the people who were in the back and further away and could not see her. She used the screens to create visuals, which it created a beautiful narrative and it created a beautiful atmosphere, but it wasn't great for the people who were very far away and could just see her like a blob. So I was very thankful that this time around I could see her on the screens, but I did not like that the visuals. I mean, it's obvious that the visuals are going to include insects because her entire deluxe version of the album is insect themed, which, guys, when the album came out, because just simply because of the cover, I could not listen to it for a little bit because it was so, I just don't like insects. I am scared of them. I don't find them nice, and seeing them that big, oh my god, I'm going to throw up just thinking about it. Seeing them that big was quite triggering for me. And thank God for my friends because they were covering my eyes and they were letting me know when it's safe for me to look. And I was just very happy that I got the privilege to get the chance to go and see SZA and Kendrick Lamar perform together. Because when I went to see SZA in 2023, it was the opening night of her European leg of the tour, and it was known that she was going to have a guest performer. And we were like theorizing, oh, it's either going to be Travis Scott or Don Toliver or Kendrick Lamar. And I remember in that moment, I said, I would rather it be Travis Scott, because I don't know if I would go to a Travis Scott concert, but I would definitely go to a Kendrick Lamar concert. And lo and behold, it was Travis Scott who was the guest during that opening night. And now, 2 years later, I did go to the Kendrick Lamar concert, which I was talking about back then, and I did see him perform with SZA. And I just think their chemistry is unmatched. To me, Kendrick and SZA are what are to R&B and rap what The Weeknd and Ariana Grande as a duo are to pop. And I would love to have also like for The Weeknd and Ariana Grande to release an album together, because I think there's just a match made in heaven musically, the same way SZA and Kendrick Lamar are. And I'm just so thankful that I got the chance to experience it, and the audience, like the mosh pits, yeah, dangerous, but like the audience was so hype and was genuinely just happy to be there, and we were giving the energy which the artists needed. And I very much can tell that the performers appreciated it, because you like I just cannot imagine what it must be like for an artist to hustle years after years after years to put their heart and soul into a song, and see that song sung by 60,000 people. And I just think that's beautiful. I think this is the highest compliment an artist can receive. And just seeing your music make an impact, seeing your music make people move, make people feel, that's invaluable. And I would love to be a part of a mosh pit one day, but they are so dangerous and I'm scared of them, honestly. So I enjoyed watching them. At times I was like, man, that seems so fun. I would love to be there. But now again, looking at the videos from people who have been in the middle of mosh pits, I'm pretty happy with my seats, because I had my space. I could sit if I wanted to, which I didn't, because I was so hyped the entire time. I just could not dare to think about sitting for a split second, because they were giving it their all. And the stage layout itself was super interesting. It was reminiscent of the one Kendrick had at the Super Bowl performance he had this year. And it was super interesting in the sense that it was Nintendo buttons like, but also it's all a game. This is the illusion. But also, because at the time I had just finished watching Squid Game, it just reminded me of that, because it was a triangle, a circle, and a square. And this also opens up a conversation about a different type of game. And I love artists who put thought into their performance, in the sense that it's a whole universe of storytelling that they're creating. And I really enjoyed my time there. I think both of them are amazing performance. I really enjoyed the sector of the crowd I was in, because people around me knew word for word every single lyric and did not stutter once. And at the end of the concert, I was like, guys, I am a fan of you. I came to see Kendrick and SZA. I am a fan of you now. And also, I don't know what SZA's affinity about being in the air at concerts is, but it's very much appreciated. Last time I saw her, she was floating on a boat over the whole audience, and this time around, she was a fairy. She was a fairy. But legitimately, that was such a beautiful set, and I think it was very, very well thought out, and I could see how much thought went into it. What I would say though is, I think that when the concert ended, like during the last two songs, they were Luther and Gloria, and Gloria was the final song. I personally, in my humble opinion, because bitch, sit down, be humble. In my humble opinion, I think they should have ended the concert with Luther. I understand why they didn't, but I personally, seeing the audience response to Luther and then to Gloria, I think they should have ended their concert with Luther because it's such a beautiful song, and it's so equally divided by between the two of them, and it just leaves the audience on a high. And I love leaving a concert on a high. That's why, for example, when Harry Styles ended, I think it ended with Kiwi, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. Like, sure, I was up until now crying to Fine Line, but now I'm dancing to Kiwi and I'm leaving on a high. I'm not leaving on the devastation that Fine Line was. And I just, yeah, but like at least at that point it was already dark, so it was at least in that aspect super, super enjoyable. Guys, I would love to share my videos with you, but I cannot show any of those videos to a single person on earth because my voice, it is overpowering. You cannot hear SZA, you cannot hear Kendrick, you can hear me. And I don't sound even an ounce as good as them. So, and you know what? I don't even know why I even record during concerts because I never sit down and look back on my videos from concerts. I never do that. So, why do I record? I genuinely don't understand, but I doesn't matter. At least during the most intense emotional moments of the concerts, I never record because I want to be there like wholeheartedly and experience it fully. And that's actually what happened to All the Stars. During All the Stars, it was one of the most beautiful things I have ever witnessed in my entire life because the audience, the entire audience, all like 50, 60,000 people of us just had our uh, torches, like not torch, like the yeah, the from flashlights, we had all our flashlights waving in rhythm, and it was, you know, all the stars were closer in that moment, and it felt so, so beautiful. And I it's moments like these that I cherish forever. That's why I really love concert going because it's such a beautiful moment of unity. We are united by the emotion. We are united by being in this space, by our appreciation for the art, for the music, and for life. And I love it. And also, I do not apologize for the person I become when Low starts playing, be it on the radio, be it on Spotify, be it at a concert, and SZA herself is singing that song. This song is my jam. I love Low. I have loved Low way before Low became the Low we know now. I think it's one of her best songs. It always makes me feel like I'm the baddest bitch to ever walk on planet Earth, and it gives me so much confidence. And it like the second I hear the tell him to shoot, and something just overcomes me, and I become a different person, and I need I need space because I am going to, do like a dance or something. I don't know. I love that song so, so much. And the fact that I got the chance to experience it twice live is something I'll never take for granted because, again, I get very attached to music despite my musical inabilities. So I I just like I know that probably such story times are very boring, and especially if you haven't been there, if you don't love concert going, if you don't know what exactly I'm talking about, if you're not a fan of the artist. But this story time is not for you. This story time is for me so that I can like live through that moment again, because after the concert I legitimately could not let it go. That was my help. I'm still what the rest around, because I would just listen to the set list every single day for a week after that, and I would just not let it go. And I was just like, now shake that ass for Drake, now shake that ass for me, because yes, they did play that song. And you know what song they played as well? Not Like Us. And was that, well, it was funny, but also it was the way the crowd was during the A minor was just, I know this just doesn't make sense to you. I know, I'm very, very sorry. But it was an amazing experience. Like, bottom line, an amazing experience. And I I do not apologize for this uh story time. Here's also another criticism I have, and it's not towards Kendrick and SZA in particular. It's just I've noticed that at this stadium in particular, when you're in the nosebleeds, the audio sucks. And it's just not great. And when the artist is talking and they're telling a story, they're talking to the audience, trying to connect. At times it's very, very difficult to understand what they're trying to say, because it creates an echo and the sound doesn't travel too well. Because I get it, like, the stadiums were not created for concerts, they were created for sports events, but still. And I like, at moments like these, if you don't know the lyrics to a song, you would not know what they're saying, because it's just a mush of sounds without much clarity, and it ruins the experience a little bit, but you get over it for at a certain point. And you know what? There are two songs which I was really, really looking forward to being played live and experiencing them together with the audience and the artist. And I know they're super mainstream, but just because they're mainstream and they're two of the most popular song by Kendrick Lamar does not mean that they're washed, does not mean that they're not worth it, and does not mean that I am like a fake enjoyer of the music simply because I was looking forward to listening to those songs. And those songs were DNA and Money Trees, because, and I have a story about them. So DNA, last year when I was starting out with Dirty Martini, I was listening to DNA on repeat every single time an ounce, like even like a crack of doubt in myself would like emerge. A like a millisecond of my time, if I would spend doubting myself about the podcast and fearing and just being scared, I would listen to DNA by Kendrick Lamar, and I would be like, this is what I'm meant to do. And I felt so good. To me, DNA is the Dirty Martini song. And I know it's so weird because I've never mentioned this before, and you would imagine that it's something by Harry Styles, but no. Dirty Martini's anthem is DNA by Kendrick Lamar. And I that song, in moments when I really needed it, gave me the confidence to continue, the confidence to not give up, because yes, I've got royalty inside my DNA, and no one can convince me otherwise. And Money Trees is one of my most favorite songs ever. And to me, I connected with such beautiful moments because it's such a vibey song. Like, and I know, like, it's not like, it's a storytelling song, and that's what I love about Kendrick's art, that his rap is poems. He's a poet. He tells such meaningful stuff, and I sure, like, now you can go and be like, oh, what about like ton 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 ton? Doesn't matter. Like, he is a poet. Kendrick Lamar is an amazing artist and a beautiful lyricist, and Money Trees is my go-to song. I listen to every single time I have a good evening with my friends. We go somewhere, we have a nice experience, and because I'm the designated driver of the group, and I drop them off somewhere and I just start driving home, and it's late summer, like early morning, like let's say, well, late night or early morning, depending on how you want to see it. And I'm blasting money trees, and the windows are down, and the wind is in my hair, and I just feel free and I feel youthful. And I was so happy that I got the chance to experience one of the songs I connect with friendship and great experiences. And this song, which encouraged me to continue whenever I would have doubts about Dirty Martini. And I don't take this for granted. I know this is an extreme privilege and I'm super thankful for it. I'm super grateful for it. I this is a memory I will carry with myself forever. Oh my god, my clothing rag fell from the balcony. Wait, guys, I need to go fix it. I'm back. Well, at least that means that there is some sort of wind and the air is not going to be so stagnant today, because today it is code red and it's going to go up to 40 degrees because why not? But yeah, after the concert ended, I was so euphoric, no pun intended with euphoria, but I was so euphoric. I was on cloud nine, and I'm super grateful for my friend for accommodating me at his place, because otherwise I would have been stranded in Amsterdam until the first train, which wouldn't have been my first time, but like not super pleasant. So again, next time, like the next city I move to is not only going to be a city with an airport, because I just cannot like listen to last week's episode and you understand why, but also a city with a larger cultural scene where I would not need to travel for at least 3 hours in direct per direction to get to the venue. Because imagine, I just legitimately cannot comprehend how like a concert finishes and you just take a bus and in 20 minutes you're home and that's it, and you don't have to travel 3 hours. Like that's just crazy to me, because for me that's part of the concert experience. And I just like it's getting too much. And I, like I mentioned earlier, I left with the first train home in the morning after the concert, and barely having slept for hours, I went and I worked 9, which was definitely something. I became like delirious at some point. But it's like the adrenaline, I like it would not wear off for a week, and that's how you know I've had a great experience, that I just cannot shut up about it. And that's, again, that's my help. I'm still at the restaurant, and I am very thankful everything went safely, at least for me and my friends, because we noticed during the concert that there were some people who were being escorted by medical professionals because they had either fainted or this thing fell again. It fell again. It's my cue to go, but like I just need to say, yeah, I'm super grateful for the chance to go and experience the concert. I love concert going. I wish I had another concert lined up, but I don't, and it's not me lying to you so that, I can protect me, like my superstitious self is protecting me. It's just, yeah, like I really wanted to go see Pitbull, but like everything is sold out, and like, well, I think the concert already passed, and like people were reselling the tickets for 250 euros. And as much as I love Pitbull, and Pitbull is my dream concert, my dream artist to see live is Pitbull, and he has been for years, I am not giving a month's strength to go see him. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I really wish. This is something I heard Youngblood saying when he was promoting his festival. I forgot the name of the festival, Bloodfest or something like this. I don't remember. That music is becoming a luxury. That music is becoming like something that is attainable only to people who can afford to spend a crazy amount of money, and that should not be the case. Music should be a universal experience for us all. We all deserve to this I've talked about this before, about high and low art, and how I just don't think there should be something as high art, because art shouldn't be a luxury. Art is an emotion. Emotions are innately human, and you cannot and should not put a price on such experiences, and you should not make them unattainable. And I just really don't like the fact that now, with such VIP experiences, fans have to give like hundreds and thousands of euros or like dollars or whatever currency to go and see an artist that they've already been supporting since day one. And I just don't think that's okay. This is a topic for another time, but like, music should not be something unattainable. Music and concerts should not be a luxury product. Emotions should not be a luxury product, and it's extremely sickening that they're becoming one, and well, that they have actually become one, and they're further and further diving deeper into that zone of luxury. And that's why, because I know I've talked about this before, how concerts were something so unattainable in Eastern Europe, and sure, in recent years a few larger artists have visited Bulgaria, but when I was growing up that was not the case. And that's why I guess I was just grasping for air, like I was grabbing them like straws, whatever the saying is, you know what I mean. The second I got the chance for them to be attainable, and I don't take this for granted. I think that my lack of concert experience before I moved to Western Europe makes me appreciate concerts more, and makes me realize what a privilege it is to be able to experience them, and I don't take them for granted, and I'm super appreciative. And that's why I always have such detailed stories to tell, because I always take in the experience super deeply and pay attention to everything, because this was not there when I was growing up, and for many people it's not going to be there ever. And it genuinely makes me sad, because I don't know, again, art should not be a luxury, and emotions should not be a luxury, and experiences should not be a luxury, and just life should not be a luxury. And like I mentioned, this is an experience. Like, concert going is something that makes me feel so alive, and I wish it upon everyone that they get the chance to feel that alive, even if it's just for 2 or 3 hours. And yeah, maybe like that's why I know those stories might be boring and tedious and repetitive to you, that I always pay attention to the stage, I always pay attention to crowds, to cues, to set lists, to outfits, to dancers. But those things are the things now I get the privilege to experience. And because I realize what a privilege it is, I try to soak it all in, to soak up the experience, so that it lingers in my mind, so that it lingers in my heart, so that it's something I can carry with myself when I remind myself how far I've come and how much far I can go. And I know it's just a concert. I know it's just like a performance that the artists themselves, they don't care about me, but I care about the emotion that they gifted me, and I'm forever grateful for it. And I'll try to remember it and carry it with me forever, because I just felt free. And I felt fear, but I also felt freedom, and I felt appreciation for the fact that nothing bad happened, for the fact that on a pure survival level, on a pure physical level, I survived, and I got the chance to experience something spiritual. And that's just something I appreciate, value, and don't take for granted. And that's why I love concerts. That's why I will never shut up about concerts. That's why when I talk about concerts, I cannot just in passing say, oh yeah, I went to this concert, it was great. No, I will tell you the story, because there is a story behind it. There is a story behind my appreciation, and there is a story behind the privilege that I got the chance to experience this. So I know, boring for you, but super meaningful to me. And I know that one day when I look back on the podcast and I want to, listen to what I was experiencing in my youth, I would look back at this and be like, I'm very thankful that you shared all the nitty-gritty details, even if people found them annoying, because now I can go back to this thing. I can almost touch it, I can almost feel it, I can see it, I can smell it, because the way you described it. So if not for you, this is for future Martina. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you didn't, that's all right. It was a bit chaotic, but that's Dirty Martini for you. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope to see you in the next one, but until then, especially in this heat, please stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Bye!